impermanence, anicca, is part of what we call the universal characteristics. So this is the nature, this is how fabrications, how things are impermanent, conditioned things, not all things, but here we talk about the conditioned things. For all intents and purposes, all the things we come in contact with are impermanent, for all intents and purposes. So how to deal with it? In a way, the Buddhist approach is to recognize it, to recognize that this anicca, this is the truth of our existence. So it is not something that pertains to whether we accept it or not. Sometimes we say we have to accept impermanence, and yes, we should accept impermanence, but we should also know that impermanence is the truth, is reality. And whether we accept it or not, that is how it is. That being the case, it means that we in a way, we don't have a choice, we don't have a say in it. The impermanence is there, whether you accept it or not, whether you like it or not. So then how can we face it? Learn to observe it, learn to see it in our day-to-day life, learn to be aware of it. So I think last week, or one of the classes, I gave the example of how if we were to have a garden or field, and then there are some seeds, and if we check our garden once a year, after 1 year, maybe you have a tree, maybe you don't have a tree. And if you have a tree and you were not expecting a tree, you'll be surprised. Or if you were expecting a tree but you didn't see a tree after a year, you are surprised also. So impermanence we usually translate as, or anicca we translate as impermanence, but within it is about the uncertainty of change. That change happens due to conditions, not due to any one individual or ourselves or others to determine change. No. When there are conditions, then that kind of change happens. When there are no conditions, that kind of change don't happen. That's the nature of change, of anicca. So if we don't pay attention to change, to changes, to this nature of change, of anicca, then by the time we are aware, it's a drastic change. Then we'll be surprised. Then it's harder to accept. If we observe it day by day, and observe with awareness. If we don't observe with awareness, then sometimes we are not aware of the change also. So it's just like every day we look at ourselves in the mirror, but we are not aware of the change. So although we look at the mirror every day, we are not aware that, cognitively, intellectually, we are aware we are growing old. But by the time we are aware, really aware, is when there are significant changes. So take time to, when, especially now COVID-19, nothing to do, right? So be aware of ourselves, be aware of our family members.